Good morning, students. We begin with a fresh chapter today from Civics, chapter number 7, Understanding Marginalization. Now, in this particular subject, we understand what is the problem with our society and how can we recover it and what steps have been taken to overcome the problem. Now, in this chapter, marginalization has been discussed. Now, the very first thing to be understood is what is marginalization? Okay, what is marginalization? So, this particular thing, even you must have noticed happening with you, but you do not know that what you went through can be coined under a term called marginalization. Now, what happens is, supposedly you join a new school. Even if you are not new in the school, sometimes when an entire group is taking part in a discussion, you may be the one who has a different idea from the group, or you may be the one who's got a different way of dressing up from the group, or you are the one who's got different taste, who's got different dialects, you speak a different language which is not understood by anybody, or the common language which is being used in the group is not known to you. What happens in these circumstances? In these kind of circumstances, you are cornered. That means whatever is your opinion doesn't matter in the group. So when you're cornered, you're sidelined, what happens to your own confidence is it goes down. And if this happens in a long run, then definitely it's going to affect your mental ability of thinking over here, of discretion, of putting forth your ideas, your confidence, everything goes down. At the end of the day, I would say, because of this particular marginalization, you actually sideline and break the entire confidence of a human being who is not like the herd, I would say. Herd is the major part of the society, and major part of the society is alike and only few are different. Now this is somewhere an example which you can relate with in your own lives. But what happens actually in the society? If you have less money, if you belong to a caste which is considered to be low on the hierarchy of the caste list, or if you speak a language which has got a particular accent which is loud or which is not understood by anybody, or you feel like they have come from jungle if you hear that particular language. Like when we speak English, when in a crowd when you speak English, you are considered to be posh, educated. But if somebody comes and speaks a language from an Adivasi or tribal group, then people would look down upon you. You may be the most intellectual human being on the earth, but just because you spoke a language which was not understood by the mass, you will be like the word stereotype type of thinking would start acting upon you. So marginalization in the society in general I would say, as a general talk, can take place on the basis of your social status in the society, your economic status in the society, the languages which you speak, in a typical dress form, if you, in a typical attire if you wear, like if somebody wears 9-yard sari, like Marathis wear, definitely, even if the lady is very literate one, definitely you will have an idea in your mind saying that, "Ye to gaon se aaye hain, inko hatao yahan se." So this like kind of a hatao, that is called marginalization, and this actually leads to those particular sections who have been marginalized. We leave them powerless. We leave them with a sense of non-dignity, like they don't believe in themselves, even if they have fundamental rights have been given to every Indian citizen. But to claim for, we actually bring the confidence to zilch. We say that the confidence is totally shattered. They don't even claim their rights over their own fundamental rights. So we do cause harm. Certain people do cause harm as a unit, as a society, to the communities which have been marginalized. Now, one entire comic, this thing has been given in your in-print comic has been given in which a description of a child watching a parade, two children watching a parade, Republic Day parade in Delhi, are conversing with their grandfather, where the grandfather says, when they notice Adivasis, the parade in the parade, they notice that always Adivasis are shown dancing at the tune of some dhol or some musical instrument. So they question their grandfather as to why only they themselves are Adivasis, and they are asking their grandfather why is so that only the tribals are shown dancing off to the tune. Why aren't we shown portrayed in a different way? So then the grandfather tells his entire story that he used to live in the forest, and one day, as we have learned in history, Britishers came and said that you don't have any rights on the forest. Few of them were told that there's iron ore in your land, you sell it off to us, and they fell into the trap of the Britishers and signed the papers, not even signed, with their thumbprints on it because they were not that literate. And that's how they fell into the clutches of the Britishers, and those who did not sell off their land were forced, they were assaulted by the Britishers and they were forced to sell away their lands. That's how they had to leave everything and come to Delhi, where their father, the children's father, was doing a job. And then they used to live in a very huge house over there in the forest, in the lap of the forest, but now they have to live in small dingy rooms in the city. And that's how because of this when those two children couldn't get education for a few years, and they are now lagging behind in the studies, and they don't know that English language much. So there again marginalization is acting upon them also. That entire description has been given, go through it once. Now in this particular chapter, now that you know what is marginalization, in this chapter we will be discussing about those who have been marginalized by the society and what happened to them, how are they suffering. All this will be brought into limelight so that you and I can understand how can we bring a change in the mentality of the people, because it is said that family is the smallest unit of the society, and if a change has to come, it will be from the smallest unit of the society. I cannot bring in the entire nation and say change. I have to change things in my house first, and then the next generation will follow, adapt to that particular change. So it goes on, it's a step-by-step procedure. So for you and me to understand what is marginalization and what are the effects and how are we causing damage and how are we causing threat to the society by using all these measures. So let's see who are the people that we're going to talk about. So first people we discuss about are Adivasis, tribals. Now if you take this particular word into Hindi's consideration, beta हम थोड़ा इसको Adi and Vasis. Adivasis means they are the original. Adi means original, and Vasi मतलब कहीं वास करना, so they are the inhabitants. So original inhabitants of forest area. Remember that Adivasis were the original inhabitants of the forest areas. Now why would one prefer, the question is why would one prefer to live in a forest? So the basic reason of living beside a forest is the availability of resources. If the availability of resources was in abundance, then definitely ancestors, generations put together would live in that particular area only, and the area in which they were living, when you live continuously, belongs to you only. So there were lands which belong to them. So you will be amazed to know that industrial areas which are presently industrial areas, and the mining takes place, 8% of this particular activity takes place in the Adivasis areas only, because the forest over there is rich in minerals and forest resources are available in abundance. Okay, Now you need to understand what kind of lifestyle or what is the characteristic feature of the Adivasi. Now these people, like when I say Adivasis, तो आप सोचोगे कि अरे एक जैसे तो होते कहीं पर भी रहे क्या फर्क पड़ता है? They Adivasis. They called by the term Adivasis. They are not homogeneous. That means they are different. In different areas of India, you will find different Adivasis. So they may be given a local name in that particular area, but we generally commonly call them as Adivasis, but they are not homogeneous, they are different. They have totally different lifestyle, they have totally different customs, they have totally different religions, faiths, beliefs, and the attire, everything varies from one place to the other. You have Adivasis in Bhilai, you've got in Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, everywhere you've got Adivasis. You've got Adivasis in Andaman and Nicobar Islands also. So you just have to remember that they are not the same. They are different people, they are not homogeneous. Now, you'll be amazed to know that in Orissa only right now, around 60 groups of different Adivasis live. In Orissa only, I'm talking about only one state over there, that in this state only you have 60 different kinds of Adivasis living. Now, the very most important point in their community is they don't have any hierarchy. They don't have any hierarchy. What do you mean by this? Now, when we were learning social studies in class 6, you came across something called Varna system. Okay, so we start with, as I used to teach my students in class 6, I used to say brain power, education power, Brahmins, muscle power, Kshatriyas, money power, Vaishyas, and then no power no power at all, Sudras. So this was the Varna system at that time. But these people, the Adivasis, don't have any Varna system at all. Every single Adivasi is the same. They don't have any category of caste against their name. Okay, so they don't have any hierarchy. Remember that particular thing. They don't have any Varna-based system. They don't have any caste system amongst themselves. Okay, now these people, you can't categorize them as Hindus or Muslims or Christians. Now, because they live in forests, they worship elements of nature. Like they have mountain spirits, they have forest spirits, they have animal spirits, they worship ancestral spirits as well. Now you will be amazed to know that within the boundaries of the forest, they will worship the mountain spirits, they will worship the animal spirits, and they will worship the forest spirits within the boundaries. But if you talk about ancestral spirits, they will worship in their own homes. Keep that in mind. Even rivers have spirits in accordance to them. Actually, indirectly or directly, they are actually worshipping the Mother Nature's elements. So those who have passed away, those who have gone to the different land in accordance to them, they worship them, they remember them in their own thoughts by continuously praying for them in their own houses. Those are the ancestors. So they believed in that kind of a system. Though I would say many of the Adivasis, if you really want to know what religion did they follow, most of the Adivasis did undergo a change by adopting Christianity, which brought a very major change in the Adivasi culture, because these people used to live in jungles right from the beginning, and suddenly if you bring a change in their worshipping, then it is going to bring a change in the lifestyle and the way they speak and think also. So Christianity was adopted by many of the Adivasis. But if you want to know what is the name of the religion they followed, Buddhism was followed. Shakta, there was one more religion they used to follow. And Christianity, they used to follow these particular religions. Now, what is the language spoken by them? Now, you will be amazed to know the language spoken by them is as old as Sanskrit. because they were natives, they were the very old natives of the jungles. They used to continuously speak in that language, and from generation to generation that language went on and on and on. So they passed to the next generation. Now, many mainstream languages which we speak right now have emerged from their Adivasis primitive language, have emerged, like Bengali has emerged from the Adivasis mainstream Adivasis language, which was spoken for generations and generations together. Now, if you ask me, apart from what they speak as natives, definitely they'll have different languages. There's one language which is prominently spoken by the Adivasis, and there are magazines which have been printed on this. There are e-zines, like this word has been used in textbook, e-zines with articles which are there on as a compilation on internet. So that language was Santhali. Now most of the information what you get about them has been written in this language only, because this is the most common one when taken into consideration. If you ask me what's the common language which has been spoken, which is spoken and understood also by Adivasis, so I would say it is Santhali. So that's all for now. Let's see what effect of marginalization was there on the Adivasis in the next lecture. Thank you, dear.